Hey guys, welcome back. We are doing another dev blog round out. We got a lot of them to take a look at. So, we of course, looked at Convoy, Holiday Convoy setting sail. That was amazing. Yesterday's video on this channel. Check it out if you haven't already. But this looks legitimately awesome. This is the second half of 2026 counterpart to 2025. Pretty repetitive years. First half kind of was terrible. Second half seems like could be a repeat. Could be another very good one. Now, 15.7 is gonna bring Pan American destroyers early access. So you're gonna have to wait. Well, next update is 15.6, so we'll wait a month and then we'll get 15.7. And you gotta wait 2 months because of early access, of course. And the aircraft carrier changes and AA changes. Oh man, the rework continues. The train wreck continues. And I have something I have to tell you. I recorded a video of this already. It was way too long and I forgot on OBS to switch it over to desktop capture. So it was just covering port, which I'm currently using as the background sounds here. But what I need to show you is, we'll get into the details here a little bit more, is I need to show you guys my initial reaction to this AA change and later some of the buffs that are coming to a certain subsection of ships in this video game. So here we go. 5% for DDs. Okay, I mean, it doesn't seem that good, but you get it reasonably often, I guess, is the counterbalance to that. Watch them also percent buff the carrier squadrons by this much, so then it's just a net neutral. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't make assumptions, but this is like, they make a side grade change and nothing ever happens. They're just still frustrating. Progress bar begins to drain. So what happens then if I am not looking at what's coming up next? I promise I was not looking at what came next, okay? Because these balance changes are actually entirely aircraft carrier, every carrier in the game. Bro, every carrier in the game. Balance changes. They're doing some buffs to carriers. Oh no. To the German carrier line. Japanese carrier buffs too? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Wait, I did not check this beforehand. I just opened this in new tab. I did not realize this was just a buff to carriers. Oh, it's so over. 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 We're so screwed, guys. It's all of them. It's all of them. It's all of them. It's all of them, bro. No way. No way. It's every single crew carrier in existence is getting a buff? There's no way. This is my nightmare. Somebody wake me up. This is my nightmare. A number of aircraft carriers. You don't say. What did I say? What did I say? Go back an hour at this point. Oh my, what did I say? What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? Wait, that's Convoy. That's actually the good one. Apparently this is the one where I just scatterbrain rant about carriers. But what did I say, bro? They're gonna buff the AA here in some small little minor meaningful way that doesn't really do much, and it's gonna be a side grade because they're also just gonna buff carriers at the same time. Oh. So I didn't want you to miss out on that little rant. I thought that was fun. I thought that was really fun. I legitimately did just click. I went into here and I saw, okay, we have a dev blog here, open new tab. We have a dev blog here, open new tab. We have a dev blog here, open a new tab. I did not look at it. I was so... Oh, man. Okay. So here's what we're getting. In early access, there's a benefit here, too, is that I get to summarize this a little better because that video was way too long. Pan American Destroyers early access. We're also getting a premium cruiser. Irizar, this is the AP secondary attempt. As we will see, they are going to be buffing that to basically make the AEP as sap shells with the pen angles, the fuse times, all of that sort of stuff. The usual camo changes if you're willing to spend a ridiculous amount of money on early access, 2 months early access to tech tree ships. Irizar will be random bundle Admiral pack. I don't like this, obviously, but considering Convoy, this is what I'm talking about wargaming, considering Convoy, there's something for the average player, free to play, $10, $20, $30 a month player to get excited about. So if you want to do your $200 Admiral bundles, it sucks. I still don't like it, but there's at least other things for the average player to get excited about. So why was I so upset about this change? Here's what you need to know. They are reworking the way priority sectoring works. So instead of you deciding which side of your ship, it is now just a 360 thing. So dumbing it down, simplifying it. This is a really common thing when it comes to aircraft carriers. It was really complicated back in the day of RTS. Dumbed it down, simplified it so anybody can play carriers and win, basically. So they're kind of doing that to AA now a bit. We'll see how useful that is, but their goal is to make this more of a baseline tool, I guess. This really comes in the form of concentrated AA fire. So defensive AA is going away. Defensive AA is gone as a consumable. You notice this new consumable? We'll get to talk about that in a second here. But concentrated AA fire is an extra thing on top of sectoring, okay? And you will need to long press the same button. It's fine. I'm not as big a fan of that, but at least it is something that you control when to activate it. So the problem here is in their demo. I was also laughing at this. The plane kills, by the way, it's all on the interceptor until that one plane kill. And then the planes go immune. This is their demo. This is their demo. I still find it funny. I got stun locked on this a little bit, but yeah, that literally what they're showing us here is plane kills happen on the interceptor or the fighter, which obviously they have no health, and then the planes, the actual planes we want to take down, yeah, you're still not shooting those down, bro. Oh man. So with D-Fire going away, what are we getting? Well, we're essentially getting this concentrated AA fire is the new defensive AA, right? Similar buffs, 25%, 200%. I kind of forget what was the cruiser D-Fire, so hold on a second. What was normal cruiser D-Fire? 50%, 300%. Wait, I didn't look at that. Oh, I didn't look at that last time. Oh, do I go on to another rant? Oh no, because that's worse. That's just worse. They're nerfing it. It's actually a nerf. Dang it. Okay, we're learning new things every day. Wargaming can always disappoint further with this AA and carrier rework. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so 40-second action time. You need to charge this up so you no longer get access to an instant defensive AA. It's not a consumable anymore. It is something you have to charge up. It's just like another F key, basically. And 2.5% per second of active AA fire means that you have a 40-second charge time, 40-second action time. So that's where it is. You are legitimately getting this somewhat frequently, okay? You start losing progress after 70 seconds and 5% per second loss. So it is just another F key type deal. Makes sense. And you can actually be charging it while the sector fire is on cooldown, which is cool. That makes it easy, dumbs it down, simplifies it, right? It kind of would be interesting that if it was a more powerful effect, but it was a little like you weren't charging it when this was on. It's like, you know, when it goes orange and it like has to reset or whatever. I don't know. I want more gameplay. Like, this is something you should know probably by now if you've been watching me, but I want more interaction. The problem here is that the surface ship guy has no impact on this engagement. It is all up to the carrier. And even with this whole sector AA new D-Fire that seemingly doesn't do anything, like, it's still all on the carrier for this interaction, right? And let's be honest, we're not ever in situations where we're 6 kilometers away from the enemy carrier where we can actually shoot at them and deal meaningful HP damage to their ship. You know, whenever we're fighting surface ship to surface ship, the enemy surface ship is a targetable entity. This HP bar is a targetable entity. Not the case with carriers. Another reason. There's so many reasons why carriers are so unbelievably broken in this game. Spotting, minimap only spotting would be great. They refuse to do that. Lots for me to rant about for like around an hour. But we will continue. We will continue here. Yeah, this gives you a way to boost the AA without relying on a consumable, which is good. Okay, this is legitimately good. You didn't usually spec AA because you weren't always going to get a carrier, and if the carrier was going to, was the carrier going to go after you or not, you would spec into guns, you would spec other survivability, you would spec hydro, right? Like this was the usual advice. Also because AA didn't do anything. That also is a requirement there. AA has to do something when you spec it, and it just simply does not. Which, is this going to change it? Who knows? So, D-Fire, what's happening to that if we're moving that over to priority sector type shenanigans? Well then, oh, I should also mention, big deal that this is user activatable. One, it gives the user of the surface ship the impression that they're actually engaging. They're not, still, but previously when they tested this, it was an auto-activated effect, so then the carrier could bait it out and just guarantee that it never impacted them, because they could strike a couple times, know that the effect was almost about to activate on the surface ship they've been flying around for a while, wait until the change in color of the flak burst comes, and then fly away for 50 seconds or however long it lasts, and they can come right back and focus the same guy over and over again. That's how it used to work in the previous test. Tried it out, that's exactly what happened. For some reason, Wargaming doesn't think far enough ahead with this sort of stuff. There's some very obvious outcomes here when it comes to these balance changes that they're making that they just simply ignore, don't understand, maybe perhaps too cynically. I would suspect that they don't actually play, they don't actually experience the challenges that come with the game, and therefore don't know how to fix them, perhaps. And that's not on the devs, that's not on the specific developers working on it, that's probably at the top. Let's be honest here, that's probably at the top. Anyways, my little rant there on company structure aside, we can ignore that, I suppose. Let's talk about this new consumable here, because this is a pretty massive buff to Dutch airstrikes. Airstrike armament reload time, minus 20%. Hello, welcome back, legendary mod Guden. Excellent. Sure, it only lasts for 30 seconds, so it's not like a full 20% DPM buff to your airstrikes, but are we thinking ahead about this, Wargaming? Do we really need more airstrike? Like, come on. Do we have to make the game as frustrating as possible all the time? This is crazy. I would much rather we just talk about stuff like this all the time. It's so much more fun when I can, like, actually... You're doing good things. When you're doing... Please more good things. This also gives you a 20% torp DPM buff for 30 seconds. Secondary alpha damage, 10%. I don't think you're going to take it for that. Hydro is just so much better if you can run a Hydro. On a secondary ship. And let's be honest, if you're running a secondary ship and there's a consumable slot open where it's not just a damage control and a heal, let's say you do actually get access to this extra slot where you would have the Hydro or defensive fire, or what was defensive fire and now is this new consumable, you're taking Hydro every day of the week, right? So I would ignore the secondary battery damage thing. And concentrated AA fire progress per second. This should be additive. It should just be another 1.2 plus 2.5, right? Then you would get 3.7% progress per second. You'd get it in what, maybe 30 seconds? I'm not doing the math on it, but I'm guessing somewhere around there of the AA. That's, by the way, your AA just needs to be firing for 40 seconds to get to charge it up. Maybe it's 30 seconds then. I don't know. Seems like, again, legitimately seems like you are getting it reasonably often then. You're getting it off of airstrikes, you're getting it off ASWs, that sort of thing. But is that really that much better? You just take Hydro. Unless you're a Dutch airstrike ship, then legitimately take Hydro on everything but a Dutch airstrike ship. That is how I'm viewing this consumable right now. They better change that. I feel like I am running into a lot of airstrike ships these days, and I am not very enjoying it. Let's just say that. And their goal is that it's, their goal is that they want it to be less mandatory to just take Hydro, but I think it's still just gonna be the default here. We'll see. It can still change. As AA Fire will be more impactful. Surely, 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 surely they're not just going to buff every single carrier in existence. So one more plane kill is supplemented by faster plane regen. Surely, surely, surely that wouldn't be the case. By the way, can I just talk about that for a second? Why are we always... Do you know how I knew that was coming, or could speculate on that and just have that funny moment earlier? It's because they do the same thing, man. They have one playbook. They have one playbook around these carriers, bro. They know that they're too strong. We know they're too strong. We're gonna fix it. Trust us. Look at us. We're buffing the AA. We're buffing surface ships in this way. But we're also, in response to that, gonna change the carriers. Obviously, we have to. Oh, it's just the side grade. They both, nothing changed. Nothing changed. It's just still frustrating. Oh, maybe we added more mechanics that make it even more frustrating. Like planes being immune to damage now. Oh, maybe like overlapping AA circles not actually giving you the full damage. Maybe we're gonna cut that damage down. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see that. Speaking of, what if we added more tactical consumables? Okay, I'm starting to rant again. You know what? You're getting the energy, okay? This is frustrating enough. You're still getting the energy, even after I've made a whole video today and we're re-recording this. You're still getting the energy, man. I find this so frustrating. So, what happens if we give tactical consumables to the most impactful, least balanced class in the game, allowing them to do the best damage, the best spotting, scouting, and now more utility than anything else too. It's damage controls for free for your teammates. Are they going to use it? Who knows? It's also going to be heals for your teammates. Are they going to use it? Who knows? Probably they'll just use it on themselves like they do with smokes. And speaking of, how is it that Essex line, which has an extra tactical and assist-based consumable, how is it that it has more damage output, more battle impact, better win rates than the midway line? Isn't the whole idea that if you're going to give more utility, more battle impact in a less direct damage focused way, in a less direct spotting focused way, that then it would be a little bit worse at damage and a little bit worse at spotting? Wouldn't that be the idea that, hey, it's really frustrating to deal with damage from carriers. Hey, it's really frustrating to deal with spotting from carriers. What if we gave carriers a similar amount of power, but it's through these supplemental supporting roles, so that way we can tune down the spotting and we can tune down the damage of these carriers, and that way it'll be less frustrating and carriers will still feel like they have an impact on the battle. No, that's not wargaming. No. We're just gonna keep the same damage, or in fact give it higher damage output and give it this extra battle impact. Insane. Oh my goodness. Even going over this again, now that I understand it better. Oh boy. Well, good luck everybody. I don't know what else to say. It's just a train wreck. It is simply a train wreck, this AA rework, carrier rework thing. It is going so horribly. Legends, by the way, still frustrating with carriers, but they have limited fuel times, so you can't just fly anywhere across the map and focus anyone. You have to kind of you have to play on the side that you're on, and it's minimap only plane spotting. It's so simple. The plane flies over you, you're spotted on the minimap as if it were a cyclone, and you're outside of the 8-kilometer range to actually surface spot someone. That's it. It's not perfect, but it's a huge step in the right direction. Anyways, they're not going to do it. Apparently they're worried about some random mod maker making a mod, even though they can just say, hey, this mod's illegal and we're not allowing it. Anyways. And no one's made a mod to surface spot people in cyclones before anyway. It's been how many years of cyclones, and nobody's made a mod to show the minimap spots as surface spots yet. But no, we're okay. Rarity system update. So this is basically them trying to unify things, right? We have the gray, green, blue, and red boosters. Red boosters are epic. They want them to be legendary or something. I can't quite tell if they're replacing epic boosters with legendary boosters now as the top end. I think. It's hard to tell. But legendary boosters are directly replacing epic boosters for a specifically free XP. So red booster free XPs are actually getting nerfed. And again, I believe in the old system where it was flags and camos that were giving you these bonuses, You could get more free XP stacking on that old system than even with red boosters in this new system. Now it's getting a nerf again. You'll need the legendary one. How many red boosters do you even get, bro? Blue boosters even. How many do you get? You just don't get them. I don't see why they're actually doing this change. It's weird, man. I'm frustrated from the carrier stuff, okay? I'm sorry. I'm letting that spill over into this change. This is such a weird side grade thing, but I guess if it unifies the content rarity system, I guess that makes sense. That's good. We want our gotcha mechanics to all make sense. I understand. Oh well. We are getting the new Spanish commander though, next update. That's pretty cool. 2 updates from now. Sorry, this is 15.7. Should be good. Should be interesting. Premium containers, probably going to be very expensive, but there will be a way to get him through snowflakes. That will get you the basic container, which doesn't have a chance of rolling you into the new tier 9 battleship, which I believe this is the one they're testing with alternate fire for alpha damage. I did go into a long talk about that as well, like alpha damage. Why are we doing alpha damage for an F key or alternate fire? Don't we want that to be like something that feels better, more consistent? If you do a ton of alpha damage on that thing, and I believe there was a balance change. Hold on, I'm a bit scatterbrained again. Yeah, 40. They're upping it to 40%. Do you think that's going to be an accurate battleship? No. See, this is the thing I loved about alternate fire and burst fire and F keys giving us better accuracy. It felt great to have a penalty of longer reload or whatever. Maybe even worse alpha damage, like with Victoria. I found Victoria very fun, but not like that overpowered. It was really fun. It's fun to have an ability to say, this guy's making a mistake, and I'm willing to take a penalty to guarantee some accuracy when this dude's making a mistake going flat broadside at 10 kilometers. But this, it's like, okay, dude's making a mistake. Let's roll that dice, bro. 40% extra on that dice roll, though, of like, if we roll the 20, it's even better. Like, that's not what I'm looking for, you know? Anyways, that seemingly is in gambling crates, that ship. Whether or not it'll be available normally or not, who knows? CLR ships return in Conqueror. Of course, the gambling crates are going to be here as well. And so is Rune CLR for a discount. Rune's not an amazing ship these days. Tier 9 cruisers are very bad because they're matchmaker. And, well, now that the Tier 8s all have heals, Tier 9s are... Tier 9s historically have just been Tier 8 cruisers with a heal and with a 6 upgrade slot. So now it's a Tier 8 cruiser with a 6 upgrade slot, and that's the only difference. So Tier 9s are hard, but Rune CLR with a significant discount. What does that mean? Is that one of these Azure Lane $10 ships like we've seen for, you know, there was Roma back in a couple years ago, Montpellier, whatever, the Cleveland downgrade. You know, there are ways. And if you want to get tokens to actually get some of these CLR ships, colorful tokens, there will be 2 leaderboards that will be held. Probably you're not going to get that many tokens to actually get them. You're going to have to spend money to buy these ships. But these colorful ones they're just tech tree ships as a premium. So like, sure. I'm down. But also it's not that like important that you have to go after it or whatever. I'd much rather that than like selling just blatantly overpowered chips for $200 or loot box gambling thousands for returning Wisconsins and dockyard ships. Anyways, the CV stuff set me off, bro. I'm in a negative loop. I'm in the spiral, bro. Okay. Apologies for all the complaining and whining. How long am I into this? 23 minutes still. I thought I was going to be faster. No, I am faster. I think I was 23 minutes up here somewhere. I think we were still on those at 23 minutes. I'm doing better. I'm doing better. Yeah, we're almost at the end. This doesn't really matter. Brawls, they're trying one interesting brawl where reload time of consumables is reduced massively. Smoke duration and radius buffed. So like Cecilia could be hilarious in that. Engine boost. So very consumable base for maybe a fun one. Tier 10 battleship cruiser destroyer. Good job, Wargaming. Nobody wants to play against subs or carriers. Well done. You understand this, but refuse to balance them properly. Oh, that's not fast enough. Hold on. But refuse to balance them properly as shown here. Hold on. Back we go. And I think that's about it. Destruction effect container, who cares? Yeah, I think so. 15-7, new ships. We're getting, hey, part of why I was a little bit like, hey, Dutch airstrike ships are a bit of a problem up here. I should have just used that, wow. I'm not all the way here, apparently. This is an existing ship now that they're adding. What if more Tromp? What if more ZH1? We love fighting those ships, don't we? Yeah, and it's basically useless outside of its airstrike. You get like pitiful guns. 5-second reload on like 120s here. The Dutch 120, like they are not good guns. Your torps are a 6-kilometer range, useless. Like, it's just an airstrike ship, bro. It is just an airstrike ship. And these are Utrecht airstrikes. You get one of them, 8-kilometer range. Oh boy. Who wants this? Who wants this? Who wants to fight against this? Like, I understand there's those of you out there that just want to cheese and play the most frustrating thing and you get off on the fact that you're making someone else's day miserable. I understand there's some weirdos out there like that. But like, really, wargaming, you should know better. You should know better. You should know better. This is horrific. Anyways, it does have a main battery reload booster, so I guess the guns can do okay. And it does have a hydro. So this is basically ZH1 tier lower, but different. Dutch instead of German. Respublica, this is... What was this? Oh yeah, NC. This is a Soviet NC gun with an F key for alpha damage and... or combat instruction for alpha damage and consumable cooldown. It has worse dispersion because it's Battleship 1.9. NC is Battleship 2.05 Sigma. But it gets access to the 3rd upgrade slot where NC doesn't get access to the accuracy upgrade because it's tier 8. It doesn't have the 6th upgrade slot, but yeah, it's NC guns. Apparently it's tanky, small superstructure is what they were saying. Exposed citadel, poor conceal, 25% AP alpha damage, pretty massive. Consumable prep and cooldown time minus 90%. And you're getting that by hitting ships with shells or potential damage. Sure. Interesting that it already has a 40-second base cooldown on the heal, so fast cooldown heal, and you get it back almost instantly with this. Probably harder to charge this, though, than, say, like Valparaiso, for example. Not sure how interesting that one will be. We'll see. La Spezia, no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. Apologies. This is 8-gun Brindisi with a burst fire and destroyer dispersion. And worse exhaust smoke and only 2 repairs base. But that gets up to 3. Like, what's the difference between 3 and 4 repairs? We've seen that with tier 8 cruisers. There's not much difference. It feels about the same, to be honest with you. So that's not too big of a deal. But yeah, it's the same old like big sap alpha damage. And actually, is that more alpha damage? Hold on. Hold on. Go tier 9 cruiser sap. It is more alpha damage. Look at that, 5,200 versus 5,950. Wow. I wonder why the alpha damage increased. Well, that burst will be kind of nuts into DDs. Wait, destroyer dispersion, sap burst. Oh my goodness. Okay. That could be filthy. We love sap too, by the way. We love airstrikes, we love sap, we love gimmick F-key combat instructions to make battleships incredibly tanky because of consumable reload time. Oh man, the greatest hits. The greatest hits, guys. These are all subject to change, right? I'm just reacting to this stuff at this point, right? Like, this is all subject to change, obviously, but... notably, worse exhaust smoke generator, right? 25-second duration. Barely gives you enough time to turn away. Sovietsky Rossiya, this is the Azure Lane ship that has been in the game for like nearly a decade at this point. Made a video on that one. Yeah, made a video on that one recently, and you can just see exactly what that is. I say not just a clone because it's not a clone of the tech tree ship. It is different. It's got like Iowa dispersion instead of the Soviet dispersion pattern or whatever. But this is just a clone. This is a... Yeah. Yeah, it's just copy-paste. That's fine. We could do copy-paste for getting people more access to ships. How is it going to be available? Who knows? Who knows? It's not a terribly interesting ship either. This is Carnot, but at tier 10 with Le Havre secondary combat instructions, basically. So we'll see how tanky it ends up. But yeah, these guns line up pretty well with Carnot guns. You get 12 of them. And battle cruiser dispersion, 2.05 Sigma. Somewhat long reload on them. Secondaries are 127, so you actually pen 21 base, which is important because French often have 100 mil secondaries, which don't pen anything. So that's really nice to have. 9-kilometer torps, and these combat instructions are, 70% reload, 60% dispersion, and 60% pen. Very powerful. Hit enemy ship within a main battery shell, 8% progress. Pretty simple, that. And you do get access to this auxiliary torpedo thing instead, the new D-Fire, the replacement to D-Fire. But again, like 10% alpha damage, really? I don't know. Just run Hydro, right? Like if you're pushing and trying to brawl secondary cruiser, you're running Hydro. You're running Hydro. Togasa. This is like Rhode Island but Japanese, or actually not quite, because it's 310s here. So you get Yoshino guns. You get 15 Yoshino guns with great reload and an alternate fire that buffs the AP alpha damage and pen, I believe, as well. So poor bow stern armor. I would expect 25 bow stern, maybe 32 center mass is what I would guess. And yeah, 21.7 kilometer range, 23 second reload on 15 Yoshino guns. Ooh. Battle cruiser dispersion, 1.9 Sigma. I'm pretty sure it's battle cruiser. And the HE shells are a bit nerfed, 27% fire chance only. Like a Rhode Island is closer to 30%. That gets fires all the time. But 15 shells should be getting fires all the time anyway. AP shells a little low on the alpha damage, but you can buff that here. Their pen and their alpha damage. HE also gets an alpha damage buff with that, but who's ever... Like, the only reason to go alt fire HE is if there's a destroyer about to smoke up, go undetected, go behind an island. Otherwise, you want the DPM, right? Like, why are you giving up over 10 seconds of reload? You know? But it's there. It's there. Likely, you know, you get some lucky dispersion. 15 battle cruiser dispersion guns is like, wow, for consistency. So, might absolutely smash some destroyers. And I didn't point this out, but a lot of these ships had like 8 flak or more. So it's like they understand you need flak to actually deal damage. We're at 32 minutes. Oh, I gotta speed it up. Gotta speed it up. I was hoping I could get this under 30 minutes. And yeah, spotter. So pre-kite, HE spammer. Pretty boring. Not a fan of that playstyle either, to be honest with you. Are any of these interesting playstyle wise? Maybe this one. Maybe this one. Le Havre was fun. That one we've already seen. That's pretty boring. La Spezia could be interesting. Okay. I mean, Sap is kind of annoying to fight, though, too. Depending on how obnoxious this is to actually damage and what the Citadel is like if it's a large exposed Citadel, I could have fun with that, where there's like a legitimate downside that I have to play around. We'll see. No accuracy on the F key is too bad. This will be really toxic, of course. It's Dutch airstrikes. Ah, yes. Carrier buffs. So the idea being that we get a slight, maybe minor increase to AA efficiency. From what I've seen, it kind of looks like a side grade, but all of this is aircraft prep time, reload time, prep time, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just all a slight reduction to how much time it takes for you to get more planes. So if the 3D printers are working faster by a percentage, and the AA damage is working a little better by a percentage, why even do this, Wargaming? What's the point? Just to make me mad in this video? I guess, you know what? You've got a pretty funny video. You got some good rants out of me. You know what? That's fair enough. We got some good content for the second channel. That's hilarious, though. I wish they could. I mean, They would never actually listen to me about carrier sub balance, but I wish, man. Anyways, the Pan American destroyers are getting some buffs. The heal is getting buffed to do twice as much healing per second, but half the duration. That's a buff because it'll means you get through your healing faster and you get to your next one sooner. Reload is being reduced, so a buff there. Fuse threshold. I don't know why the low tier ones had such absurd fusing thresholds, but this means like you just overpen on anything that doesn't have 32 millimeters of armor, which is like everything at low tier. So probably good that that was changed. At higher tier, they're not necessarily just buffing them. Buff to the reload, but nerf to the threshold. So notice 19 millimeters is a lot of destroyers at higher tier have that. So if you go flat broadside to these at higher tier, they would arm the fuses previously, but now they're not. So some nerfs there. Also, the main battery reload booster got nerfed here a little bit too at high tier. And the tier 10 as well got some similar nerfs. Irizar, this is that AP secondary car. Look at what they're doing. Look at the fuse times, right? Look at the arming threshold. Look at the pen angles. It's just sap. It is just sap. They're reducing the range, but adding that range over to the combat instructions, and base secondary gun accuracy improved. Now it's similar to Napoli. So this is basically just a Napoli, but not, but different. I don't know. We'll see what the armor looks like. It might just be a much, much, much worse Napoli because, you know, Napoli's so insane because of its armor, right? It allows it to actually brawl and use those secondaries and get in close. If you want a light cruiser to do that, I'm not sure. We'll see when I play it. Obviously, I haven't played it yet, but there you go. We already talked about the inconsistency here of just dice rolls and the, what is this? Akazuki, tier 10 Akazuki getting a buff? Nerf. Okay. Conceal and smoke gen. This is exhaust smoke gen, by the way. That'll be kind of wild on a gunboat, DD. Makes sense that that needs a nerf. That'd be kind of crazy. The torp boat one, I forget what it's called. There's one torp boat, Japanese torp boat that has it, and it was crazy powerful, even with bad guns. Like, you were out DPMing things because you could bait them into a fight and instantly go dark, and they'd be spotted for a little longer because it would take them a while to slow down into their smoke and go undetected. And you'd be instantly undetected, and you'd outspot everything. Like, yeah, it's kind of wild. So good, probably desperately needed that nerf to concealment. Anyways, Kurama is the Super Zao, getting buffs to its main guns, alt fire mode, all that stuff, and adding a spotter plane, likely so that it can actually play at high tier, super ships tier, because super ships tier is so passive. And the Spanish commander is getting a nerf, the guy that's coming soon. You'll get a little bit less healing out of him. Makes sense, makes sense. That was looking pretty darn strong for destroyers. Not that impactful for the other classes, though. So there you go, there you go, there you go. I don't want to talk about AA anymore. Do you guys see why I try my absolute best to not actually dive into the carrier changes and talk about them? And like, I also just purposefully avoid trying to talk about strategies to avoid damage and to trying to deal with subs and carriers, because it always ends up into a rant at how imbalanced it is. Every time. I cannot talk about this without just ranting about how absurd it is. Maybe that's on me, but I think that's mostly on just how badly implemented those two classes are in this game, and how ridiculous it is that Wargaming just refuses to fix them by burying their heads in the sand, giving us some pittance of a side grade to our AA, where the way they show, here we go again, where they show it off, shooting down fighters, not shooting down the actual plane we want to until very late, and then the immunity time. That's your demo, bro? That's your demo. Here we go again. Here we go. And then you buff all the carriers onto, okay. Do you see why? Do you see why I don't bring this up? This always happens, man. Anyways. Well, you got some good rants out of me. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will see you later. That is our look at 15.7.